right now.
Rudy. I got you.
Welcome to Game Day Battle, where Cleveland sports news meets biased and outspoken opinion. Full complement of the Game Day crew here tonight, and everybody.
The Four Horsemen.
Good to see you. Yes. We got Dale Shantz-Tersey down the end there.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
That's why we just go DST, baby.
That's
what she said.
Ramon Torres, sporting the GDB colors, along with Brett Finnegan here on the end. Mike Glass, sporting nothing because I came from dinner tonight. Sorry, I couldn't stop home and change. I didn't plan very well.
Back ahead of time. Was Browns were too formal for you?
Yeah.
God.
So
informal.
And speaking of the Browns, they gave us a good game. They gave us a lot of excitement.
Yep.
And we could have maybe even won the game. There's some positives to take from the game. Also, a lot of concern. Of course, we can bitch about a lot of things too. The question is really the direction that we are coming from and heading to. What's that line that we're on? We heading down, up, and where do we sit with our predictions? I know it's early in the season, but
right here.
Yeah.
This is where I'm sitting.
Thanks, Dale.
You're welcome.
You're completely useless as usual. So we're gonna dive into all of that. Of course, the Buckeyes, OSU. Wait.
Yeah, you messed it up.
No, you're
Come
not.
on.
This is the easy part.
Oh, come on, man.
After you messed it up.
How you mess it up? You're either an H or an I.
Michigan fan right here.
Never that.
So they pulled out a close game against Cal. We can agree or disagree on how good Cal was, but
a little ugly.
It was a little ugly, but they pulled it out, and that's the important thing. We're gonna look at that. Of course, they dropped in the poll even after they won, so that's an interesting aspect. And also, we have coming up this next week a scrub again, and then we play Michigan State. Michigan's going to play Notre Dame this week, so we're all Notre Dame fans for a week as well.
Go Irish.
Brett likes that. So a lot going on in the world of college football. I think right now, though, we got to kick it off with the Browns.
Brownies.
Game Day Battle is brought to you by Bamboozle's Restaurant and Lounge in Parma. They have the best drink specials anywhere. Seriously, buy one, get one free drinks. How often do you hear of it? You don't. They do it twice a week. Billy's mom makes the pasta sauce all the time, and the burgers, you simply won't find a better one. Check them out, bamboozles.com. Again, bamboozles.com. When you go there, tell them GDB sent you.
Go. Paper football. Paper champion. Nice.
Well done, Barry.
Nice. Game on.
So the Browns, they did lose. But was everybody at least excited throughout the game? That was a good game of football.
I was.
Yeah, good game of football. And we've always said that we just want competitive football. We probably lied when we said that because we want competitive football that we win at the end. But at least this was a good game. And we'll find out if Cincinnati sucks and we just happen to be on their level, or if these were two good teams that were, kind of coming into their own after both losing the first week. First thing we got to look at, because we just tore Brandon Weeden apart, and Dale wasn't here to defend him.
I wasn't.
And we tore Dale apart for talking about the clay pigeons and everything that Dale brought up earlier before the season started. And I'm just going to give Dale the first opportunity. Brandon Weeden, first two games, going from game 1 to game 2, his progress, where he's at now, what you think of him as a player, skill-wise and need-wise, I guess, for the season going forward.
I mean, it's hard. It would be hard to not take two. It would hard to not like. It would hard. Wow.
Take three.
It would be hard to not like what you saw from Brandon Weeden this week. It was the complete opposite of game 1. He looked like he had some confidence out there. Quarterback rating of 114, 26 for 37, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, what more could you ask from a starting quarterback, let alone a rookie quarterback who just came out after playing the worst game of his career, even though it was only 1. So I think it was the total opposite of what we saw in game 1, and I saw some composure. Still out there, maybe just staring down one receiver. I'd like to see him look off a couple guys, but overall, I'd give him a solid A for this game from what I saw. And towards the second half, Cincinnati started to run away with it, and it was our offense that kept us in the game. We were scoring. 300-yard passer, Trent Richardson going off, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, 40, through the air. So I definitely like what I saw from the offense this week. And I'll tell you, I think we were one bad special teams play out from being in this game. And would have liked to see him put that one together, but I know a lot of people weren't really feeling the field goal at the end of the game, thought that we should have went for the touchdown, but I think they made the right move. They had to get those 3 points right there. With 16 seconds, 20 seconds left on the clock, you're not going to be able to get your field goal team out there anyways, so you're going to want to be going for the touchdown if you could get the onside kick. But Brandon Weeden, I like what I saw. I hope we see more of this. 7 targets for Massaquoi and Greg Little. We saw Greg Little finally get in the end zone, so a lot of positives on the offense. Real quick on the defense side of the ball, us being Joe Hayden, light, Phil Taylor out, I think we still played solid. And we were able to hang with Cincy, so I didn't think we were going to pull out the win, but as young as our team is, you have some big plays.
And Ramon and Dale had mentioned composure in the pocket from Weeden. We've talked a lot about McCoy, and that's one thing that I think we all kind of universally liked about McCoy when he first came out, and the half of the first season he played when he was a rookie, I believe, or second year, and then a lot of the times throughout the difficult season last year. He had composure and poise in the pocket, and he seemed to be able to maintain himself even under a lot of pressure, a lot of scrutiny. Did you see that from Weeden as well? And if you did, do you think that was the biggest difference, or do you think that we simply just were able to hit on all facets, and that made it easier for Weeden to be like that?
No, I like what he did in the pocket. He stepped up. He stayed in there. Man, some big-time plays where I thought he was just going to get plowed, man, but ended up making a play down the middle. I think was it the Greg Little, Massaquoi, I think caught that one up the middle. That was a tremendous catch by him. But he's looking good out there, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Even though that first play of the game where he tripped over that guy, gave him like that karate swipe, sweeped him right under there.
It's a judo chop.
What is that? I'm thinking he should know his surroundings, but he's still a little antsy out there. You can see him, he pulls the trigger a few times too quick, don't let the play develop, because he overthrew a few guys and a few passes that he could have made. But what do you expect? He's a rookie, and that's what we're gonna get.
It's a tremendous jump, but looking at how he played on the field, it's all about where you were, where you're heading. Do you think he's kind of arrived, or do you think he's still got a long way to go before he's the quarterback we need him to be?
I think he still has a long way to go. I did like the improvements, and as a guy, this is coming from a guy that didn't want to see him drafted, and the horrible first game last week. And I even said last week that you're going to stick to your guns, stick with Weeden, don't put Colt McCoy in there. And it looked like what the Browns did in practice this past week was work on what they did wrong last week, and that was the offensive line got better. They opened up holes for Trent Richardson. They gave Brandon Weeden a little bit more support in the pocket, but he still was rushed a lot. I like to see him find the accuracy just a little bit more. He did overthrow quite a few too. Mm-hmm. But it was a complete turnaround, and I for this offense, and this is Dale hit it right there. Is once the running game gets open, guess what? So is your passing game. So I think he still has a long way to go. I would say long way. I think there's a couple more miles, until let's give him a couple more games, and then we can figure out if he still has a long way to go. But I did like the transformation from last week to this week, and so it's a big improvement for week 2.
AJ Green. What if we had an AJ Green? What could happen at this point with an AJ Green type receiver, a true number one, a true athlete, and of course we haven't done anything to go get a guy like that. Even a Julio Jones at this point would be tremendous. Massaquoi is not going to get it done. Massaquoi was being covered by a second string a cornerback, a guy that is barely brought even on a nickel package. And he was blanketed by this guy.
Not really. 7 targets. He got 5 receptions. That's not bad. And for 90 yards.
What I'm saying is when covered by him, he was, and I think that it's significant because you've got to. If you're that guy, you've got to be able to go up against the best defensive back
we
on
don't
the
have
team.
a true number one yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
But we're just looking for somebody to step up. So we can't really say it's Massaquoi or it's, Gordon. We're looking for that guy to step up.
That's exactly my point. I'm saying we don't have that guy. So if we had that guy, suddenly the way that Weeden's playing right now, things open up tremendously. So I can't. Wanting more from Weeden right now, I think it's almost unreasonable because we've got to give him targets to throw at. We've got to give him downfield threats. We've got to give him guys that can make plays, and we ain't got those guys yet.
I think we're
still a long ways away.
Well, I think we saw it from him this week in 5 for 90. I mean, that's pretty decent. Number one numbers right there, and that's we're seeing the quarterback making these wide receivers better. And normally you hear that wide receivers normally don't come out till about their third or fourth year is when you'll see wide receivers start to break out, and this could be it. This could be Massaquoi's year to come out and prove that maybe he can be that number one guy. I mean, when was the last time we had a 300-yard passer? Honestly, I don't think we had one at all last year. So it's been a while, and these are the stats that win you numbers right here. 300 passing yards, 100 yards on the ground, 5.7 yards per carry. You know what I mean? They spread the ball out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different receivers he hit. He's spreading the ball around. Mm-hmm. And that's opening up lanes. And I like what I saw from Massaquoi. I think that he's going to only improve. I think the team is just going to get better. And statistically, on paper, we were on par with everything that Cincinnati did. I mean, it was almost a wash. It was that punt return, baby. That's what I'm putting it on.
Well, some of these numbers are skewed a little bit because at the end they were in that deep zone, just protecting the win, or did you say prevent the win?
Yeah.
But so some of these numbers are a little bit skewed. 322 yards is great, but that Cincy secondary is worse than ours. I mean, it's every bit as bad.
Not yesterday.
Well, no, we don't have the threats to exploit it. When they've got AJ Green, they've got that Andrew Hawkins, which you just can't catch. They've got Jermaine Gresham. They've got Ellis, able to, he's great with hands, and he's a smart running back and receiver. They've got 7 receivers that they use. 7 different receivers, just wide receivers, not even counting their tight ends, and then of course the running backs. So they've got so many targets. They were able to exploit our weaknesses. That defense, though, that secondary, if they're going up against that many targets, just like they went up against with Baltimore, they're going to get exploited every week, and that they're going to. Cincy, the only way they're going to really do well this year is if they can win 45 to 35 point games, and that's why I'm not. That's why I think we're really a far distance from where it looked like we might have been playing up against this team. So.
Well, defensively, we definitely showed weakness, but I think with Joe Hayden now, this is a time for some of our younger players to step in and get that number one playing time. It's like, how do I get the job without any experience? Well, right now they're getting experience in there, and that could help, add some strength and depth to our lineup and to our secondary. And I mean, you're calling AJ Green a number one wide receiver, and he only went 7 for 58 and a touchdown.
Would you take him over Massaquoi?
Would you take him over Massaquoi? I'm just saying that even that solidified number one receiver isn't always going to get you 10 catches, 150 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Well, but that's where I think numbers can be misleading. A guy like AJ Green,
and that was against our second best DB.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is though that him being on the field, I mean, AJ Green had seven receptions. That was more than Massaquoi by 2. It was
he was targeted 12 times.
Well, right, but
he's stereo.
In stereo.
Nice.
But he was under constant double and triple team because he's always going to be. When he sweeps the zone, he takes the zone with him, and we don't have that guy. Nobody's got a double or triple team any of our guys. And then you add to that all their other little receivers that they have going on, and it's a nice package. I think that without a guy of at least close to that caliber, I'm not saying it's got to be an AJ Green or Calvin Johnson or something like that, but we just don't got it. We don't have it, and I don't think we should expect much from our passing game. Well, this is something that. It's a phenomenon this 1 week, this 322
yards. This makes me very optimistic because they actually went out and did it. And these are the stats from the game, and they're all fantastic. And I like what I saw. I don't expect this team to go to the playoffs, but we're a young team with youth at every position. And I like what I saw. This is progress. Brett, you look like you're dying to get in, man. What do you got for me?
I think Massaquoi is going to be that number one quarterback.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm sorry, number one receiver. Sorry,
we're learning something here.
I was looking at his numbers, and But anyways, for the past 2 games, first week and second week, he was targeted 15 times already. And he's got a total of 131 yards for the past 2 games.
Yep.
I mean, that says number 1 receiver right there. I mean, if you get the most targeted times out of the whole team receiving corps, that shows that there's going to be a chemistry going on, and that's what Brandon Weeden is going to go with Massaquoi. Massaquoi had some great catches last week and this week.
Yep.
You know, he looks like he's proven since last year and the year before. And I think Massaquoi is going to be that number 1. Once he establishes himself as the number 1 and getting 38 targets to 300 yards, guess what? He's going to become the AJ Green, getting the other second person on him. That's going to open up for Greg Little and whoever else, Ben Watson or Adam Smith, are the other receivers open.
Yep.
So you think he's an athlete on that level?
Yeah, I think if they keep going the way they are between Brandon Weeden and Massaquoi, the chemistry's come out, because if there was no chemistry, then Greg Little would have been that number 1. He wouldn't have 15 targets already in the past 2 games. In a dismal game last week, he still had 7 targets or 8 targets last week in a dismal game.
I think you guys are on the right track. GST and Brett. I don't know what Mike's talking about, but what we see here, you cannot compare us to having an AJ Green or Julio Jones. Yeah, that's all good to have that big name receiver, but I tell you what, talk to Tom Brady, talk to Peyton Manning, and who he makes top end receivers. He makes those guys.
Who heard of him when he got drafted?
You know what I'm saying? Nobody. You could look at this paper when Wes Welker came in. You're like, who's that? Oh, well, he only had 3 targets.
He wasn't nobody when he played for Miami.
Yeah,
so you get with the right quarterback, and he can make you a number 1.
So wait, what I'm hearing from
he was
the table,
nobody.
Wait, thank you, Brett. What I'm hearing from the table is that it doesn't matter the receivers that we have. If you have a good quarterback, he makes the receivers good.
Damn straight.
Okay, this is quite different.
No, I think that's exactly my argument. Is that a quarterback makes the wide receivers better?
Well, if that's the case, then you are buying into exactly what they're doing. They don't draft quarterbacks. This organization does not draft. receivers.
We already know that.
We draft them low because the thinking is, well, if you get a good enough quarterback, it won't matter about your receivers.
Well,
there are many teams out there that do the opposite. When they have that high draft pick, they go like Atlanta and they go after and look at their passing attack. Now, I'm not saying Atlanta is the team you want to build your team after, but it's. I just think that there are a few skill positions you can't build. You guys got to make them dominant. You've got to start there, and I'm not seeing that Massaquoi could end up being that guy. I don't see him as an athlete.
I mean, there's a million different scenarios that we could bring in, and one of them would be like, look at Detroit. 2008 to 2011, they took 3 receivers in the first round, and none of them panned out until they got Calvin Johnson. I'm just saying that you can have that big, physical, 6'5" receiver,
Calvin Johnson?
and if you got Curtis Painter throwing the football, he's not going to be any good, man.
Calvin Johnson had Kitna throwing him the football, and he was fucking awesome.
John Kitna was a pretty good quarterback. He's a journeyman. Awesome. He was, man. Won some playoff games. Just saying.
And only thing
could have been
reason why Atlanta drafted
he was a Bengal.
Julio Jones that high because they felt they were 1 receiver away from winning the Super Bowl. So that's why
that
they
was
did
their
that.
best move.
And why did they go grab the receiver? Why did they go up and give up something to go get a receiver high? Because they knew if they knew
what Julio Jones was going to be. And right now he's the 3rd drafted receiver in all fantasy leagues. I mean, he's
they knew he was going to be a great receiver.
He's pro.
But I think, personally, my opinion, if you're going to build a team, you've got to get a certain
quarterback,
few positions high.
Quarterback is number 1.
Quarterback is high. I don't know why any team. There's a lot of teams out there that when they have their awful seasons and they go out and get like offensive linemen and shit with their top pick or 2nd pick or 3rd pick, you gotta be well along, I think, to waste a high pick on that. If you get the best quarterback you can first, and then you get your wide receiver, and then if you can get your defensive linemen, your cornerbacks. Cornerbacks are huge nowadays. The passing game rules. You've got to have the best cornerbacks, and you can't just go pick up scrubs anymore. You can't just game plan for these massive passing attacks. Cornerbacks are huge, and you get those high, and then you can start looking at the tight ends and the offensive line. You can get a lot of guys like that low and make those guys work.
Right, like tight ends and wide receiver. The guys don't matter unless the quarterback's good.
I said wide receiver. I said quarterback, wide receiver too.
Right.
I just like to see some of our targets be moving around. As I wish Gordon would get more targets. He only got 3.
That's what it is, though. He's a rookie.
Yeah,
they're not
he's
going to
young.
go out there and put him out there. And
Exactly.
get
And he's
full
made a
workload.
lot
He's
of
gotta learn
rookie
the system.
mistakes.
So yeah, I was
It's not his time.
I would like to see
Right.
it. Maybe like to see Watson. He was only targeted one time. He got 27 yards on that catch. But I would like to see our tight ends get more involved in the game. Maybe go into that 2 tight end set.
I mean, they worked Alex Smith a little bit. Ben Watson is old. I don't even think he's.
I mean, he can still
I don't
do it.
think he's the number 1 tight end on the team without a doubt. I mean,
well, we have was it Jordan Cameron?
Alex Smith. I'd rather see
Jordan Cameron. He's
be
still
out
on the
there.
bench, but
But that's
I
just
like-
because again,
Actually,
it's
I
not
think
his
Cameron
time.
was
We're tied up with Watson. We're paying him all that money. He'll be the number 2.
So let I would like to see them spread it out a little more. They made a big point when our announcers did to say that McQuay and we didn't have this type of chemistry. He's the one he feels most comfortable with. This is the reason why he's getting most targets. But I'm glad to see Greg Little get worked in there too because he didn't see all those targets last year.
Glad to see Little score a touchdown.
So
That was
I'm
big.
glad to see that.
That dance was lame.
Whoa.
Dance was lame.
Don't say that Greg Little never got the targets last year because he was the number 1. He dropped the most passes on our team last year.
He also had
don't
another
say,
guy.
Don't say he wasn't targeted.
He also had Colt McCoy, who has no rhythm whatsoever. He's got the rhythm. He's
Okay.
got
So you're going to blame all the
McCoy
drop
guy.
passes on Colt McCoy? then?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all quarterback.
Absolutely.
Everything that happens
Because the
is
quarterback, yep, if the
Yep.
passes were there, they would have made him. If they're all like,
then-
trying to reach, it's almost there. It just
Okay.
wasn't there, but it went off my hands. If it would have been where it needed to be,
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
so
behind
you
me.
want to
Yeah.
blame? You want to blame? So you actually want to blame the interception that Greg Little could have had, but actually got intercepted by Philadelphia on Brandon Weeden last week, which, by the way, was right here.
Okay,
and
we
it topped out.
we all know that tipped balls are interceptions that are not the quarterback's fault. When you see an
But it's your
interception,
receiver that tipped it?
it doesn't
right
matter.
here?
It was right here. He had a guy on him. All I'm saying is that there's a difference between a guy picking off the ball because he overthrew it 10 yards and it hitting the wide receiver in the hands, then bouncing into the air and getting intercepted. That's not the quarterback's fault. It's the wide receiver's fault. Not all interceptions are to be blamed on the quarterback.
Well, no, that's
even though
true.
statistically they
Well,
are.
you just said it was then.
No, I didn't.
You just
That's
said drop
actually
passes
good.
are based on quarterback.
Your first. That was your
Most drop passes. Not every drop pass.
Well, okay,
was-
not every drop pass, and sometimes they are going for balls that are really uncatchable.
But you know that Colt McCoy never had any time in the pocket, and he was running for his life. And when you're
True.
doing that, there's no rhythm, and he was
So
late
you
with
can't
his
physically
throws.
blame it on him, though.
I can physically, physically blame it on him.
When he runs for his life.
I
it's
can
Colt
physically
McCoy's
blame
fault.
Colt McBoy,
All right.
who can't even fit in an F-150. He's got to sit on phone books.
So, Brett, this week, final score, put your points up.
All right. Buffalo's coming off a win, 35-17 against Kansas City. Fitzpatrick only threw for 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. C.J. Spiller ran his head off for 123 yards with 2 TDs. But here's the thing: Buffalo's D gave up 451 yards total, 301 in the air, 150 on the ground. Now, with the recent happenings with this past game with the Cleveland Browns, and I did pick them to beat Buffalo, but after watching Buffalo beat Kansas City last week and this offense looks like it's pretty much together, I might have to change that.
And
I'm not going to. Cleveland's going to win 21-14 against Buffalo. One of 3 games that I picked them to win this year.
all right, you're sticking with that.
21-14.
21-14.
Yep.
You feeling the love down there, Dale?
No, I'm not. I still like what I saw last week. I think we're going to see more of that than we saw with Game 1. I think you could chalk Game 1 up to jitters and just going out there and trying to see what kind of identity we had, if any. I think C.J. Spiller is playing like a top 5 running back, and we could definitely have our hands full. We're still down Joe Hayden. This is the tough part of the schedule where we're missing key components and where we have weaknesses that can be exploited, and I think Buffalo will definitely do that. I got Buffalo winning 34-27. I think we'll still get it done. I think Buffalo can be scored on. I think might even see another 300 game. We might even see very similar stats to what we saw. But ultimately, I don't think it'll be enough to get the W. Maybe with the game being at home, we'll have some edge, but I'm seeing 0-3 start for the Brownies. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say? 30.
34-27. Yeah.
So I'm hearing a nice offensive performance again, just a defense.
Yeah, absolutely. We're weak on D right now, so
Right.
we're going to give up points.
And they've got a powerful offense. I'm not sold on Fitzpatrick, but dude can play, and they've got, like you said, Spiller's just an amazing running back.
I think Fitzpatrick is good enough to be able to pick off a 2 and 3 corner. I mean, Buster Screen is barely a cornerback, as we've been seeing.
Yeah,
Got big down a lot and got a lot of penalties.
He's undersized, and while he does have speed, if you don't match up against these guys, you're going to lose the battle every time. He gets pushed around off the line.
He gets frustrated.
He can't go up and make the aerial, the defensive tip balls away and all that fun stuff. So we'll be in it, but no W.
Are we getting any negativity from you, or is this a little bit of homer maybe? Some love?
No, I think we're gonna take it.
All right.
You guys made some good points on about Buffalo and about Cleveland, but I don't think Buffalo is that team yet. They showed a lot of weakness last year as well. They start off hot and then kind of just dwindle off. But I see us taking them down. Look for us to make adjustments on that defense in the secondary. That guy just got called up. It was right on, so he didn't even know anything about what's going on with this defense, no chemistry at all. But I think we're going to take it.
I like your optimism.
It's going to be 24-17 Browns.
Nice. I think it's gonna be a good game for us. I think that we're gonna play well. I think we're gonna be quite
Buffalo's
impressed.
got a tough trip.
It's not that far. This is not the travel thing.
I heard they're actually jogging here.
They're by boat on Lake
You
Erie.
know, that'll tire them out, and they're gonna have a tough time playing then. Okay, so this is not a tough travel for them. I'm talking cross country when that matters.
We know. We're just.
Not across state.
Well, we're across the water.
Busting balls, as they say.
Anyway, it's gonna be a good game for us. I think that we're going to again continue to move forward, and we're going to show well. However it happens, we're down early, we come back, we're up, we lose the game, but we're going to lose the game 27-23, and we're going to be kind of in the same situation we are right now. Happy with a lot of the points of the team, and just pretty much accepting the fact that we're not there yet.
Put a dart in your neck. Go ahead, we're running out of tape.
Crazy. You're crazy. We're crazy.
Well, if you have no idea what's going on, I don't either. So, Buckeyes.
It was really funny.
It was. Can I get a real OHIO?
What depends which way you're going.
H.
O-H.
Come on.
I-O.
Hey, we're not retarded.
No, we are. We guess right sometimes.
No. It's just Ramon that's retarded. He doesn't know he's the H
Okay,
guy.
yeah. Let's just throw a both.
I think it was Brett. It was you that didn't know what to do in the very end last week.
Yeah, way to go.
Wasn't last
Or
week.
2 weeks ago. That's
Wasn't
right.
2 weeks either.
3 weeks?
Nope.
Pick your time.
I don't know.
All right.
This was a great game, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was
It was
not.
a close game.
It was
It was a game. It was a
horrible.
real game.
It was horrible.
Sorry we can't blow them all out, man. At least they got the W.
And they're a good team. Well, here's the biggest stat, I think. Braxton Miller was not their leading rusher on our team.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty damn cool?
Shut the fuck up.
He did take over the game most
By
significant.
1 yard.
But he wasn't the most. He didn't control the rushing game by his feet. He handed the ball off. I like to see that. He's spreading it around a little bit. He did still, even while that may be true, he took over the game. He stepped up. He did what had to be done. I think he controlled the game in a way that we didn't get to see much from Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor was a great athlete, could do a lot of things, but I saw Braxton Miller starting to see things as we want him to see things. They have everything kind of slow down, make good decisions, and he made some good passes. He made some big plays. Big game, I think, and I don't know why. I heard some negativity from some the national shows. Big Ten ain't gone, and this is a good team. Give us the opportunity for a bowl game, and I think that we're right in it, and we could stand with just about anybody.
I think so. But it was a great game. I've seen a lot of positives, but also seen a lot of negatives. When we were up like 20-7 or something like that, second half, they came out and just looked like they were just, you know what, we got these guys, and they went into the prevent the win, as I like to call it, and just gave up what they had going. It was a bunch of 3 and outs. Like, come on, man. Put this team away, blow these teams out, show the nation why you should be eligible to go to one of these big-time bowl games. And that's what I didn't see. They let this team back in, and it was just bad. It was bad. I thought they was really going to go down.
I would actually prefer to see a game like this where, you know, every snap matters and it goes down to the end instead of watching teams just run out the clock and all that nonsense. But this really got wild in the fourth quarter. We were going back and forth. It looked like our defense pretty much, you know, gave up towards halfway through that fourth quarter, some of the plays, definitely, and how quick they were letting Cal move the ball. Also, a real questionable throw by Braxton Miller when he threw that pick that allowed them to tie it up. But, you know, fortunately, our defense made a big play. And I was watching this at Amazon, which, for those of you who don't know, is a giant indoor, like, playpen area. I took my kids down there, and they had the game on the TV, and I'm literally the only guy in there that, like, stands up and goes, yeah, when we score, and all the parents and kids look at me. I'm like, it's the Buckeyes, man, come on. But no, it was a great game, and it came down to it, and it was smart coaching and smart play, and we finished, and we got the W. So while some might have overlooked Cal, you know, they are a legitimate college football team. They have been over the years. Maybe not good enough to be ranked, but I would definitely put them as probably a top 40, top 50 team. And we went out there and we hung. So it was ugly. We got the W, and that's all that matters. I think we'll be able to hang this week as well, but we'll look ahead to that in a minute. And I'm ready for Michigan State in 2 weeks. Bring them on.
Hey, football's ugly sometimes. It's the W that's pretty, and we got that. So.
Yeah.
Brett, you sharing some of Dale's optimism, or are you with negative Nancy over here?
I like this game. It was, you know, as I said, you know, last week's show and the show before that when we picked, you know, our winners of the Ohio State Buckeyes football schedule. I said this is going to be a really true test. This is California. You know, they're not something you can just roll over. I was surprised when it was 20-7. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but you know what? I did eat my words, and it came out to be a lot closer than I expected. And
all right, well, wait till you sit down.
I'm here.
We have a small amount of time left. In fact, a tiny amount of time left. We're going to zip through this. Raising the beer. We get to raise our beer to somebody we love, hate, or just spout off about something that we feel like it. Dale, go. Take it away, Chance.
I want to raise my beer to Trent Richardson for being the first rookie running back in Cleveland Browns history to rush for 100 yards, catch 30, score a touchdown, and receive one. I think he did an awesome fucking job. I'm glad to see our young players progressing and actually showing what we actually want to expect out of them. I'm looking forward to it. Many more games to come. Trent Richardson, you fucking rule. Go.
Go.
all right, I'm going to actually pour my beer out to the NHL because they're on a fucking lockout for the third time in 10 years. That's some bullshit because you're not only locking out the players, you're locking out the people that work for them and the players that pay money to go see you fucking assholes. So, hey, owners, why don't you just light up a little bit? So there you go. NHL, go fuck yourselves. Hey, by the way, thanks for making the AHL the #1 league right now. Thanks.
Done and go.
Hey, shout out to the wide receivers for Cleveland Browns. Did a thing. That's all I got.
I'm just going to want to raise my beer to Little Buster Scrines. I know he's not going to be a #1 cornerback in this league, but he tried his ass off, and he worked. I didn't see him quit on any single play, and he was up against some tough talent. So nice job. They don't know what the fuck they're talking
It's
about.
a terrible fucking job out of you, Buster Screen. Mike, how the fuck did you say you like what you saw out of Buster Screen? Is because you're as tall as Buster Screen?
And I respect that. Battle on, everybody.
Hey, battle on!
Battle on. Yeah, that was good, guys. Give it a go. Here we go. Okay.
And don't forget, get on change.org, vote for sign our petition.
Yeah, Larry Dolan. I think we were going to say that.
Larry Dolan, sell the Indians. Go ahead, man. Sell them.
Just sell. Just do it.
Just do it.
I think we have like 20 minutes of tape left now. I think we just went too quick.
Now let's do everything really slow.
You might want to stop it before it records or the other stuff.
Are we recording over something?
Didn't mean to throw a wrench in your plans.
You proud of that?
I've been waiting all show to do that.